Welcome back. It's Friday with Mr. B, looking at the issues that really stand out, and of course getting all the perspectives from this one man who has been a journalist for over 30 years in the Kenyan environment. Now, we've been talking about the issue of the post-election violence, and moving forward, 2017 is knocking at our doors, and we need to really put our house in order so that we don't go back to what happened. Now, before the list of perpetrators was presented to the country, definitely members of parliament, specific ones, were very clear that we shouldn't be vague. Let's go to The Hague. And that's how the ICC case came up. But once the names were presented to the public, there was a change of thought that perhaps we need to just sort out our personal local issues here. And right now the debate has gone further to actually reveal that actually some of those in that list were fixed by certain political persons. And that debate is still going on and on, yet we have a problem, negative ethnicity, happening in this country, especially in this devolution era, where specific counties have managed to create their own ecosystem instead of allowing the Kenyan spirit to rule over all the counties. We want to listen to Mr. B on those issues. Mr. B, once again, thank you so much. So what would you say? Right now, the issue of, let's say, Deputy President William Ruto.
Yes.
There are people who are saying there's somebody who fixed Ruto. And recently, Honorable Moses Kuria came out and said, actually, I confess, I sponsored, funded a witness. What do you make out of this?
Political convenience.
Political convenience?
Yeah. I think Kuria comes out as somebody whose conscience and the principles are shaky. Because how can you be used to fix somebody? How? Even if, it's convenient to probably to please some people at this point. If indeed he agrees that it was fixing he was doing, he should be one of the people in the dock. But probably what I think, when that was happening, it was not convenient for him to say what he is saying today. That time, the mood of that time was that I believe this person was one of the perpetrators. And if he was, then there must have been witnesses. So that time, that was the mood. But now, political marriage that developed is that the two people who are on the opposite side, Uhuru and Ruto, came together, which is a good thing, because they had the opportunity to resolve that conflict and make sure their meds are done. That is justice. But where you, in a kind of veneer manner, you start to say, okay, we are okay.
Just because the two people have come together, things on the ground will be all right.
Will be all right. In Kenya, we have become like people who don't have depth. A very serious matter comes, and instead of us coming and saying, yeah, let's deal with this until we deal with the root cause, we come here and wishy-washy, in a wishy-washy way, we say everything is okay, and disease is still underneath. And at one time it just explodes. Suppose tomorrow Ruto and Uhuru are not together,
What will happen?
what will happen? People who are political elites, they don't personally hate each other as we think. You find many times they are having luncheon together.
Oh, yes.
Even that time, if you remember, you see pictures of Raila, Akina Uhuru meeting together and they are smiling, even they call each other my brother and they hug each other.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah? But that doesn't happen with the people they incited. Those people continue to kill each other. Actually, ICC is a very good thing for the world. What ICC did at that critical moment stopped further aggression, further fighting. If you remember, just we have forgotten. And to me, we should be strengthening ICC rather than weakening it. I think if you look at it carefully, idea of ICC will arrest you is what made the last election, 2013, peaceful.
Peaceful. Because now people could be put to account, held responsible.
Yeah. But now, because many African leaders are people who are involved in that ethnic situation, negative situation, this is why they are saying ICC is bad. So that when they do the same, they are not taken. I'm not saying ICC is perfect.
No.
Just like our courts are not perfect.
But at least they're doing something to
But,
bring sobriety.
But anything that has set itself to try to do justice, even our courts, as corrupt as they may have been, we don't say, let's do away with the courts.
We have a concern. With devolution, counties have brought themselves together, which is a good thing because people are now going back to the rural areas. Unfortunately, ethnic clubs are being formed. And there is a danger that a whole county government might just be formed by one ethnic group, including even institutions of higher learning, led by those specific ethnic groups. What would be the way forward? Because that is really a warning sign.
Yes.
That is very dangerous.
Yes, it is a dangerous thing, but don't forget that all these counties are not equal in many ways. Some, there are inequalities in education, inequality in development that started way back from colonial days. And what should have happened, like after the World War II, the Western alliances formed a Marshall Plan for Germany. So it's executed with the precision like it's a military kind of process. And what we should have done is to say there are areas that are very unequal in this, in education, in this, in food security. Let's start by developing them like if it is Masai Land, Kajiado, and other places. We want these boreholes, we want dams for water, we want this number of schools, the northeastern, the same, yeah? So that we can bring all the counties fast at the same level. And from there now we start marching on. Inequality in some of those areas is going still to be a challenge. I'm not really worried about that, people say, oh, these people have become tribal. No. When you actually go deeper, you find that they start to say, this governor is only employing people from his own clan. So they have discovered now. Eh? And that's the way things will happen. Or this governor is only developing the area he came from. Now the problem is not those foreigners.
It's our clan.
You know, you come from the coast. There was watu wa bara.
Absolutely.
Ndio watu wale watakuwa blamed for everything that is not happening at the coast. Do you know that I don't hear that word again? No. They say that governor, we are going to fix him. He is just employing people from his own clan.
People are taking charge.
So they are not even thinking about the tribe when you go there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as we wind up, just two things, Mr. B. 2017 is here. What are those two things that Kenya needs to work on before we go to the ballot?
Yes, we want to first put all these leaders on notice. And we must work with ICC. Sorry, I know what I'm saying is not popular. To say, these guys are going to start election. Let's have team to start monitoring the behavior of politicians. And the time to start is now. We join together international community, the local proper NGOs that are not inclining ethnically, and start to say, this time we are not going to give chance. And some of you will go to ICC. This is why we have, for instance, this commission for cohesion, led by Ole Kaparo. And those are the ones that need to be strengthened to monitor these people the way even now they are doing. All those people like Kuria have been called to write statements.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mutai Gonyi and others who have made, yeah, those inflammatory ethnic things, they must be put to account locally, but also possibility of
ICC
coming in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Two things. Number one, we put our political leaders on notice that indeed we're taking charge, we're looking at them, Kenyans are looking at them critically, and it's not just going to be about following what the leader says blindly, but really focusing. Secondly, ICC. We need to support it. We need to support at least an institution that is saying we're here to bring justice. Now that's according to Mr. B. In fact, he told me he's the only person who can mention a couple of names here and there. But you know what, Kenyans? The idea is this is our country. 2017 is here. And we need to do certain things. Mr. B done. Things must be done for us to have this country in the next 10, 20 years. If you and I don't do anything, if you and I just sit down and watch news and listen to all these politicians talk, and we know certain things are not right, and we just sit down, we might not have this country. But if you and I decide to listen and yet do something, then we will have this country not only for ourselves, but even for our children and their children's children, and their children as well coming. So let's keep this moving on. Remember, here on Friday with Mr. B, we are focusing on doing things, not just about talking. So let's meet next time, same place here on WTV, your Biashara channel. My name is Johnson Mwakazi, talking to Mr. Bidan Mbugwa here on Friday with Mr. B. Let's see you next time.